and today we're going to be talking about rock identification in earth science. The first thing you'll need to know about rocks is whether they're igneous, metamorphic, or sedimentary. These are the main three types of rocks that you'll need to know about. Now we're going to talk about igneous rocks. There's two major groups in igneous rocks. There's extrusive and intrusive. Extrusive means that it was formed outside, and intrusive means that it was formed inside the earth. Since igneous rocks are formed from either lava or magma, this is very important, because if they're extrusive and they were formed outside the earth, they usually cool much faster. Because they cool faster, they usually have smaller crystals. And because they have smaller crystals, this is very useful in the identification of them. Also, sometimes extrusive rocks are something called vesicular. They have little holes in them that are from gas pockets that emerge. You can see a picture of this in the slide. It's in the top left-hand corner. Now, we'll talk about intrusive rocks. Intrusive rocks are formed inside the earth and cool much slower. Therefore, they have much larger crystals, such as the picture at the bottom. This is a picture of granite and is an example of this. These are formed from magma, since it is formed inside the earth, and they have bigger crystals. Sometimes you have the extremes of this. There are a couple igneous rocks that cooled so quickly that they have no signs of crystals at all. There's an example of this in the top right. Now, let's talk about metamorphic rocks. Metamorphic rocks are formed from pressure and temperature at depths. There are two types of metamorphism. There's contact and regional. Contact usually affects a small area and is when such as a lava flow or a lava tube comes through and metamorphosizes just the small area of rocks. Then there's regional. Regional occurs over a large area with extreme heat and pressure. These rocks are usually much harder and denser. Now, we'll talk about sedimentary rocks. Sedimentary rocks are usually formed from the cementation or compactation of smaller rocks or sediments. There's a whole set of layers in terms of how big the sediments are that could be compacted or cemented. First, you have a boulder at your biggest. Then you have cobbles, pebbles, sand, silt, and clay being the smallest. Now, some sedimentary rocks are not formed this way though, and are formed chemically. They are usually an evaporation and when the water evaporates or the liquid, it usually leaves it usually leaves a chemically formed sedimentary rock. One example of this is rock salt. When salt water is left and the water evaporates, the salt is left, leaving rock salt.